All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Road to Retirement podcast. Tony Marlette Jr. at Brookside Financial with Tony Shore over at Gradient in Minneapolis, 1 hour behind us. So, good morning, Tony.
Good morning. Yeah, it's even earlier here, believe it or not. Yes.
Yeah,
But I
although
am alive and awake. So,
good to
yeah.
hear. The people listening and watching aren't really aware that we necessarily do this in the morning. So, I guess I really did not have to say this since it's not live, but
No, good morning. Yeah, we do it in the morning. Yeah, we usually do it Thursday mornings every week. We record
mhm.
the show. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate that. I'm just along for the ride to ask questions, but I know you usually have a wealth of information, so to speak.
Of
Pardon the
course,
pun. Sure.
of course.
How's our friend Chris Anselmo doing? Is he keeping busy?
Oh, he's one of the busiest people I know. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's always busy. His calendar's full. So yeah,
Good.
same for him.
Good. Yeah,
He's
you've been busy too. You were telling me like your calendar's been full for the last year.
yeah.
You've it's pretty steady, but I know that a lot of those are people who see or hear the show, and people coming in wanting a financial plan or a retirement plan. You guys keep busy there, which kind of leads us to our topic for today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been busy. We are growing as a business, and on both sides, the financial side at Brookside, the legal side at Anselmo, we're doing some hiring. We're in the process of hiring now for a couple of different positions, and probably a couple more down the road as well. So, seeing people come in for interviews in the last a month or couple months or so, I'm not in on any of the interviews, but seeing people come in for those interviews kind of brings me back to my career in financial services, getting started, going in for interviews, doing licensing. So I thought today we could just go over some basics or some information about anybody who is potentially looking for a career in financial services and just giving a little bit of a background. I think I have a fairly unique background in this business. I've been on both sides of it. I've had start off on the insurance side with life insurance, Medicare, got investment licensed, had some back office jobs, some client facing jobs, back to back office, and now back to client facing stuff. So both sides of it, but I thought we could go over some of that today.
Yeah, interesting aspect for the show today. Normally, you're giving financial tips, but a lot of our listeners and viewers might be curious as to more of what it is you do, and do I want to work in this field, and what does it take? Let's pull back the curtain from Tony Marlette Jr. and Chris Anselmo. How can I do what these guys do? Right.
Yeah, to a certain degree. Of course, everybody wants to be like us, right? Wink,
Right.
wink.
Right. I mean, there's not a day that goes by where I don't say, "Man, I know I'm Tony, but I wish I was Tony Marlette
Oh, there you
Jr."
go. The wrong Tony. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to pull back the curtain too much, right? We don't want to give you too much of a look at what actually goes on
Right.
here.
Right.
But for purposes of this show today and our conversation, I'll just look at this from a back office perspective and a client facing perspective.
Sure.
So, any business is going to have these two sides. I think it's very prominent in financial services. And like I said, I've been on both sides of it. Um, Back office is more, those are truly the unsung heroes, the people that are, if you think of it like a Hollywood production, like a movie, your actors are the client facing people, and you have your producers, your editors, and your directors behind the scenes as the back office people. So we wouldn't get very far without our back office people, and our back office people wouldn't get very far without us. So it's a kind of a melding together of everything, and it really, people say this I think too often, but I don't think it's any more true than a business like ours. Again, it's going to sound cliche, but this really is truly a team effort.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. And you mentioned the movie analogy. Well, even beyond directors and producers, you've got everyone from hair and makeup to
Hmm.
costume to set design to the sound editors, the
Right.
grips, the gaffers, the grips, all those goofy names that you see listed at the end of movies,
That's
who
right.
I have no idea what they do. The Foley artists, who
There you
do the
go.
sounds, and the composer who does the music. So, and I know your office is a lot like that because you are putting on a major production there. Not all financial so-called planners or financial professionals have this, because you folks are really the complete picture. You really do have everything there for your clients. Everything from Social Security and Medicare specialists to attorneys for estate planning attorneys like Chris Anselmo, tax and CPAs again like Chris Anselmo and you guys, and you have wealth managers yourself, people who watch the market and look at investments, and then the insurance side. So there is a lot to it. There are a lot of backgrounds you can come from. If somebody
Hmm.
out there is thinking about a career, all those backgrounds are aspects of it, right? I mean, a lot of people start in insurance, or a lot
Hmm.
of people start in maybe an investment firm or working for a company like that.
Yeah.
I know I've seen a lot of people who become financial professionals who started at different types of insurance companies, like Thrivent, or investment companies, or maybe they started as a person in one of the big box companies,
Right.
like Edward Jones or something like that, or Schwab, and
Yeah.
then they
Yep.
go out on their own, right? And you said you started, I believe your first job in the financial aspect was insurance, right?
Right. I simply got my insurance license. I wanted to change a career, or at least just at the very minimum, something to do part time for extra money. So I got my insurance license for the state of Ohio back in 2005, and everything it just kind of took off from there, just by liking what I was doing and being more curious and always wanting to get better. So if we look at the different personality types and different emotional types for these roles, the first thing I want to throw out there is, I follow a lot of financial people on LinkedIn, real estate people, and I see these sometimes these people and what they have to say about who's a good fit for what role in their business. I think long gone are the days of, in order to be client facing, and there's a business development or a sales component in what you do in this business if you're client facing for the most part. So if you're an advisor like myself or Chris, or like we had Zach on the show a few weeks ago, there's a sales component to your job to bring in new business. So a lot of people will say, well, in order to do sales or business development, you have to have, I hate to use this term into pigeonhole people, but you have to have that used car salesman type personality. And I don't think that's accurate anymore. I think, those days of having to talk, people get turned off by that. People don't want to be sold something, they want to buy something. So to me,
Right.
it's more about, the first conversation we have, asking somebody about their goals and then getting them to their goals. So really, you can have some more analytical people on the sales side, and that sounds strange. A lot of people would say, well, no, your analytical people should be, they're your organized people, they're the ones that are going to follow through on things. That's true and that's accurate, and you need those things to be, say, back office or behind the scenes, but I think you can still have those skill sets and be on the front line.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great point you just made. And things have changed, right? It used to be like, oh, you have to be this good looking, schmoozy kind of person to be the one that meets with people and to be the client facing person. Um, but you are living proof that you can be. People out there are worried, hey, I'm too socially awkward to do this job. Tony, look at you. I mean, my God, you're socially awkward and you
You
still
said
do.
it. You
I'm
nailed it.
teasing.
You
I'm
nailed
teasing.
it. No, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding you.
That's all right.
I'm
That's
giving you
Yeah,
a
I
hard
know.
time. Yeah, yeah.
You
But I mean,
nailed it.
Chris Anselmo has proved you don't have to be good looking. to be successful
He would
at the
tell you
job?
that, honestly. He would probably tell you that.
I know, he's great. I have to give you guys a hard time.
I
It's too
appreciate it.
good. That
And
was
you
too
should.
good.
I left you a perfect opening for that,
Yeah,
so I'm glad you took
but you're
advantage.
right, you're right. You'd be surprised what you can accomplish, and even I've had people tell me that, they'll do a show each week, and that helps you. Like, people have done the show for a while, and you're like, "Hey, I'm way better at speaking because I started doing this. Before this, I wasn't that great at speaking."
Right.
But you'll do things like this that kind of, bring you out of your shell, and you just need to be able to help people with their questions and reach their goals. It's not like you're trying to sell them something. I
Yeah, and
think
that's
that's
the
a
whole
really
point.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we've all seen salespeople that maybe talk a little too much. I can give several examples where I've been on the client side, like buying furniture or buying a car. I've already I'm already in. Like I'm ready to buy, and you're still selling me. Like that's the
Yeah.
old school. You don't
Yeah.
need that. You do not have to be that personality type. I think if
Yeah.
you are client facing, you're going to need to be able to be comfortable with presenting to people, gathering data, and you do have to just be able to ask for the business at some point. This isn't a hard sale. We don't do hard sales at this office, and I mean that truly. Jeff,
Oh,
Chris,
yeah.
Zach, and I, we do not do hard sales. And honestly, none of us would be able to do our jobs without our back office support and our behind the scenes. And they're not always behind the scenes. They're sometimes client facing. Jennifer, Morgan, Regina, who's very client facing up front, and Aaron, who helps us out with technology, marketing, and Cheryl, kind of a combination of both of those things. So really, we talk about the back office and the people behind the scenes. You're going to want to be somebody that follows through and follows up and is very thorough.
Right.
Organizational skills are going to help. Excel and technology and things like that. The ability to make phone calls. We have to sometimes call clients or sometimes call an insurance company or Gradient and just be able to have a conversation and see, okay, what's missing here? What still needs to happen to get this piece of business through? So
Yeah.
it takes organization, follow through, and then I think one of the biggest things is still, even though you may not be directly compensated or incentivized on assets that are coming in, you still have to have that pro business mentality, that business development mentality to kind of tear through some of this red tape uh, to get the business.
Right. Yeah. And I think obviously a knowledge of financial workings and to be an actual financial advisor or fiduciary, there's some licensure, some study you have to do. Um, so those are professional positions. And I know that I think Chris holds every type of is
Yeah,
there is there a, certification or qualification Chris doesn't have at this point? Let's see, he's an attorney, he's a CPA, I mean, the list goes on, right?
yeah, absolutely. And that's he's obviously been very successful. He runs a business. We're all here, frankly, because of Chris. But
Yeah,
even if you started off smaller and wanted to get your life insurance license,
sure.
to be client facing, you're going to need license. And sometimes I've seen people in the back office or on the back end um, go pursue their licensing because they either, and you don't even have to want to totally change from, say, behind the scenes to client facing. Sometimes people want a little bit of both. And so if you meet with clients and you go over their policies with them, you still are required to have some sort of licensing. So that can be very rewarding,
Yeah,
and it can be well worth it, just to leave your career options open as well.
sure. Sure. And I know that if our viewers or listeners have questions about this, or they're in this field and want to know more about what you do, or they want to just pick your brain, they can stop by and say hi or give you a
Sure.
call, check out the website, that type of thing, see what positions you have open, because I know that your firm has been growing and growing, Brookside Tax and Financial. And for all our listeners and viewers out there that need wealth management, if you don't have a retirement income plan in place, if you don't have a wealth manager looking at where you're at, helping you achieve your goals and make sure you'll be able to achieve your goals in retirement and have a long, happy retirement or leave the estate you want to your family. I know you help out with all of these things, and they're all so important. It's just all part of the big picture. And you have various people in your office who can deal with these things. And I think that's great. I know you and Chris and the rest of the staff there work hard for your clients and the people you meet with. So I'd encourage our listeners to pick up the phone and give you a call, Tony.
Yeah, I would too. Of course, I'm biased, but that's all right. Um, so yes, our phone number's on the screen, and for those listening, it's 440-886-3550. We get a fair amount of walk-in traffic. We're at a pretty good location. You've been to our building. It's a nice
Yeah.
building. We're on a near a corner intersection. A lot of people in this area, North Royalton, Parma, Broadview Heights, Strongsville, Parma Heights area pass us on a regular basis. And if nothing else, they're curious of what we do. We get a fair amount of walk-ins, but you can visit us on our website, like Tony said, brooksidetax.com. I mentioned this in our market updates that I just did one for June about a week ago. We're going to be updating our YouTube channel, and we have updated it. We're including shorts, so we're going to keep those going forward. We're going to keep updating those. So be sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of great resources there, Tony. And you do have a great location. I love the building. It's in an old bank, right?
Yep.
And you've used a bank building, and so there's the big vault inside your office where you keep client files. I love that, and it's great. I love your location, and yeah, I know we walked across the street. There's some good eats over there too.
There are some good eats. There's some good eats, some good drinks,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then the car show every Wednesday across the street
Oh, there's a car show every Wednesday? That's
in the
awesome.
summer. Yeah, so
Oh,
there's
that's fun.
like a classic car,
Yeah, that's fun.
meetup. Yeah, so they
Yeah.
have that right across the street every Wednesday in the summer.
Oh, that's fun. Well, hey, great show today. I think it's an interesting take. What does it take to be somebody like yourself and be in this position? And there are a lot of different options too, a lot of specialties in various areas for people who might be thinking about a career there. And I know you have openings now and you're constantly growing, and it's good to be part of a growing company, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. Our biggest concern, which is a good one, a good problem to have, is space and capacity. So,
Yes.
we look at that and we've talked about that, but for now we're okay. But well, who knows what the future holds, right?
Well, I mean, if they gave you such a huge office all to yourself. I mean, that's a little bit of the
Hey,
reason why you have.
don't be giving them any ideas.
I won't mention that to Chris. All right. Okay. Well, great show today. And again, that number 440-886-3550 if you want to set up a complimentary, no charge, no obligation consultation. Give Tony and the team at Brookside a call, 440-886-3550. And that does it for today's episode of The Road to Retirement with our host, Tony Marlette Jr.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Tony.